Congratulations to Carl Froch. A sensational one-punch knockout over George Groves. Carl Froch, going into the first fight, believed he could knock George Groves out of one shot. In the second fight, he went one step further and actually knocked George Groves out. Having done it in sparring, put him down in sparring, rooming in sparring, and George admitted to it. Carl Froch did exactly what he did in sparring in the real fight. What can you say? George Groves has better speed, better footwork, better boxing ability, but on the night could not implement a game plan good enough to beat Carl Froch. And basically, people can say what they want about you. They can say how skillful you are, how good you box, and all the rest of it. But on the night is where you deliver. And on the night, both times at world level, George Groves has failed to deliver. That's the bottom line. Regardless of what we think about the first fight, the stoppage, the second fight cannot be argued. No way, shape or form. And I think, in my opinion, that George Groves came into the fight a bit too overconfident. And early on in the fight, where he wasn't having success, and Carl Froch was able to establish a jab early and catch Groves with shots, I think that was disheartening for Groves. And Froch did not allow himself to get backed up in the same way he got with the first fight. He was able to make the little adjustments to move out of the way of the right hand. Did get clipped with a left hook, but Froch showed strength. But we don't know how much the first fight took out of Carl Froch, because George Groves didn't take the fight to Carl Froch. They talked about Hagler and Hearns for 3 rounds. That didn't happen, and I think it was unlikely to happen, and it didn't happen. So ironic. George Groves signs now with Sauerland Promotions. Now Sauerland are very good at rebuilding fighters' careers. It looks now that George Groves is going to need Sauerland to rebuild his career. If there were any question marks about George Groves' chin beforehand, well, in this fight, I guess those question marks have come back. And the other question marks about his stamina. What's George Groves' stamina like? You know, after 6 rounds, we still haven't got that question answered. You know, and you know, the big fight occasion, did it get to George? Who knows? And Paddy Fitzpatrick, how effective was he in this fight? You know, did they count on the fact that Carl Froch was so bad in the first fight that they were just trying to do the same things all over again? So there's going to have to be some analysis in that corner. And the big question everyone will ask is, what would have happened if Adam Booth was in the corner? Would George Groves have been a world champion now? We'll never know the answer to that question. As for Carl Froch, well, he can sail into the sunset. Big fights against James DeGale. Well, is that really a big fight? A big fight against Saki Abika. Now, Saki Abika could be a fight that could happen in something like Madison Square Garden or Las Vegas. Yeah, that fight could happen. And Mikhail Kessler, the Americans don't want to see Mikhail Kessler. And let's be honest, the fight that I think the Americans would want to see would be Andre Ward, Carl Froch again. But, I mean, what is there to prove? I mean, Andre Ward is considered the #1 in the world. So why would we want to see that? Julio Cesar Chavez, possibly. I mean, Carl Froch wanted to have that fight. So, who knows? But, congratulations to Carl Froch. Congratulations to Rob McCracken and the team around Carl Froch. They held it together. And there was one thing I noticed when I was really up close. I'm really up close with Carl Froch. Looked into his eyes, and it was the interview he did with Ed Robinson. If you look carefully, looked very, very focused, steely-eyed, and he was determined to win this fight. So people can say what they want about Carl Froch's boxing ability. Let's get this straight tonight. He beat a guy that was faster than him, that was stronger than him, that had better boxing ability than him on paper, and everybody was saying this, and Carl Froch beat him. And he was younger than him, and Carl Froch had more miles on the tank. So now, what are people going to say about George Groves? He got beat by a guy that's clumsy. He got beat by a guy that's got poor footwork, a guy that's got slow hand speed, a guy that gets caught with right hands all the time, a guy that's got no defense. What are you going to say about Carl Froch now? What's your argument now? Is Carl Froch an all-time great? Is he one of the best fighters of his generation? What is he? There's no doubt the man's got a great chin, and there's no doubt the man's got a great heart, and there's no doubt that he's world class because he's mixed at a world level for the amount of time he has is unbelievable for a British fighter. So we now have to give Carl Froch all the credit in the world, and I will no longer accept, in my mind, that Carl Froch is a fighter that is got all these, he's clumsy, he's this or that, because he was able to throw the jab and offset George Groves, who's the faster fighter. So what's the argument now about about Carl Froch? He may not look great to watch. Clumsy is the wrong word. Unorthodox will probably be it. But you know, if you're gonna beat someone like Carl Froch, you've got to have a game plan and stick to that game plan. And unfortunately, George Groves couldn't do that. As for George Groves, what does he do now? Well, I mean, he I guess he could have a shot at the European title if he wants it. You know, now Sauerland have got a 2-time world title challenger who've lost back-to-back to the same fighter. I wonder who else has done that. Oh yes, David Price. So David Price and George Groves got beaten by the same guy, and now they've got to rebuild both of their careers. It's going to be interesting. Sauerland probably thought they were going to get a world champion. Maybe George should have signed with him after he won the world title. It is interesting why he signed with Sauerland, and if I get a chance, it'd be great to get an interview with him. So commiserations to George Groves. I'm sure he can come again. There's no doubt about it, but maybe he needs to have a look at that style, as Adam Booth's not really in the corner, and maybe look at what Paddy Fitzpatrick wants for George going forward. Whether it's the same style they're going to use and implement, or they want to use something else. It'll be interesting. Okay, those are my thoughts. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, leave your comments. And by the way, what do you think of the interviews? I think we finally cracked it with the uploads and the upload speed and everything. So yeah, I've enjoyed all the interviews. They were great fun. I look forward to getting a lot more interviews. And now that we're in the UK at the moment, there's a lot more interviews to come. Let me know who you want to see and who you'd love an interview with. And finally, I might as well make it known, looking to do a TV series with YouTube fans. You YouTube fans out there that would be interested in being a part of a boxing show, air your views. At the moment, we're going to start in London. So if you're London based and you're interested, just hit me up on the bottom of this video. And yeah, for all you boxing fans out there that turned up for Froch and Groves, we need people like you to keep the box sport alive. And yeah, as a boxing fan tonight and being a Londoner, I was proud of that fight tonight. And yeah, great performance by Carl Froch. I salute you, dear sir.